Welcome back to the Emperor Atheist channel with your host, the Emperor Atheist. I just did a video the other day dealing with Pastor Eddie Long and his passing. And those of you who are familiar with Eddie Long and what happened with Eddie Long as far as the homosexual things and the young guys and different things dealing with that. And of course, everyone knows that Eddie Long was based out of Atlanta. New Birth Baptist Church was based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Well, this brings me to the title of this video and the subject and the reason why I brought this video. I think I should have probably, even before the Eddie Long thing, I think this subject is not really talked about enough, especially among my people, among black people, and among people particularly here living in the city of Atlanta. So this is basically who I'm speaking to. I'm not speaking to everybody else. I mean, I'm speaking to the whole world who's listening to this video. But I just thought that this is probably a very, very important video to make. And this particular video is dealing with the AIDS HIV rate in just the city of Atlanta alone. You know, according to CDC, Atlanta, Georgia, for those who live here and those who plan on coming to visit, Atlanta, Georgia, mainly the metro area, are worse than a lot of third world countries when it comes to the particular diagnosis of HIV and AIDS. And that's a very, very serious fucking issue there. Blacks in Georgia, by the way, AIDS, acquired immune deficiency syndrome. I mean, we all should know about AIDS and HIV by now. AIDS in Georgia among blacks is the leading cause of death between the ages of 35 and 44. That's a bad thing. Worse than diabetes, worse than black on black crime, worse than a lot of other things that you might see in other major cities as far as leading causes of death among blacks and African Americans. Cancer, worse than anything. AIDS in Georgia, in the state of Georgia alone, is the leading cause of death between the ages of 35 and 44 for blacks in Georgia. And that's not a good thing. Grady Hospital, which is the main city hospital here in Atlanta, for those not familiar, which is one of the two biggest counties that really serves Fulton and DeKalb County. According to their records, they diagnose every day, every single day, 2 to 3 people with HIV every single day. Okay? Now this is a serious issue in Atlanta. And I'm speaking to everybody, man, who might come to visit here, dudes who want to come and party because Atlanta is known to be, you know, the #1 hip-hop city of the South. Everybody talk about Atlanta, call it the little LA or whatever they want to call it. Music, you know, the new Motown, you know, all of this stuff. And Atlanta's been like that for some years now because of the big, you know, as far as the music bang, the big music spurt in this city, you know, over the last 20 or so years. But all that bullshit aside, this is not a good city when it comes to health, especially among blacks. Now, I guess I'll get into later. What do I think about it? Do I think it's something crazy about that particular thing? Oh, hi, this is my beautiful wife, Tawana. Do I think something is wrong with that stat? Yeah, I do think something wrong. Now, when you go on zip codes, highest by zip codes, you're talking about 30302, 30303. These are the people in Atlanta who understand that. 30308, 30309, 30310. These are the worst zip codes for HIV and AIDS in Atlanta. So something is not really cool with that. You know, it seems like it's like concentrated in a certain area. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, Emperor Atheist, are you trying to speak like, is it some type of conspiracy theory or something you think that these people are concentrating towards certain neighborhoods? Yes. And I'm going to get into that later and I'm going to show it. Another stat I got. 69% of people that's diagnosed with HIV are black. 69%, really 7% now. This is an old stat I got from Georgia dealing with, this is in 2000. This is a 2014 stat. Okay, this is the beginning of 2017 now. So that percentage has risen up. But at that time, it was 69% of people living with diagnosed HIV are black, while 6% is Hispanic and 21% is white. Okay? This is a serious issue. And for those who are coming through here, man, and y'all not wearing protection, you see all these different women down here because you got so many different blends of women here. You know what I mean? Don't get fooled, don't get tricked, because you know a lot of these girls and women walking around here, they don't look like they sick, but they are. And as far as the gay people, you know what I mean? According to the stat, I'm gonna go by the stat that's been given. 1 out of every 6 gay man down this way or come down this way catches HIV, and I think or the chances are will catch HIV, and I think it's one in 473 chances of the heterosexual male. But once again, don't get too caught up in those stats, because sometimes those stats could be misleading. I mean, the heterosexual men probably down here catching it just as quick as the gay men. So yeah, don't get thrown off with that. Think that because you may not be gay, you might not catch it. Because I remember, for those who are old enough to remember, it was a big propaganda wheel going on with this disease. And it really started for us, I say, in the early 80s with a white actor, Hollywood actor named Rock Hudson, for those who remember. Even though HIV/AIDS, I'm sure, had been around longer than that. According to my research, it's been around since the 40s and 50s. And it has been controlled through facilities like CDC and other facilities. And it sprouts out when they want to. Almost like Ebola, like they just controlled Ebola. But they did something with HIV. They did a little something different with HIV and AIDS. And according to the 80s, back then, it was just a gay man disease. When Rock Hudson caught it, everybody knew he was gay, or they found out he was gay. And they're like, oh, this disease, there's no one can catch this unless you're gay. Then they told you a lot of it came from Africa. It came from a green monkey in Africa. And I assume that this was the propagandist wheel, or the propagandist way to make Africa the main attack. Because in other words, if you said originated in Africa, then it won't be no problem if another 15 or 20 or 30 years later we look up and see that Africa will have the worst cases of it. So it didn't surprise me at all when they started lying like this and saying these stuff, and then we started finding out years later that this green monkey shit was a lie. There's no such thing as the fucking green monkey that started HIV/AIDS. We found out later that these particular cells, these things that actually killed the human T cells and actually formed perfect around the T cells, could have basically, according to all the experts who were bold enough to come out and say, basically the only way HIV/AIDS could be created was in laboratories. It was nothing that just actually came up from natural phenom from the earth or from nature, as certain things like a common cold, or things like that. But anyway, in the 80s, Rock Hudson was known, he caught it, and so the big rumor for years was it was a gay man disease. Then the next decade, Magic Johnson, and there's a lot of other little people in between Rock Hudson and Magic Johnson that caught it, because it caught fire real quick. But then Magic Johnson caught it, I think in 91, 92, and he made this big announcement that threw everybody off, including myself. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So he wanted to retire from basketball and all this shit. So this really kind of scared the world when Magic caught it. It was like, what the fuck? Like, anybody can catch it. It's saying, then they started changing the tune. Oh, no, it's not a gay man disease. Anybody can catch it now. So then, years later, it started spreading. It seemed like more in the inner city. It was spreading more in the inner cities across the nation, especially in the third world, down in Brazil and South America and Africa. It was unprecedented numbers of people dying with HIV and AIDS, down with AIDS. And the next thing you know, maybe 15, 20 years later, Magic Johnson all of a sudden say he don't have it. But we still have these big numbers of people dying of it every day. As far as Magic Johnson is concerned, a lot of people ask me, I talked about this for years, I think it's a crock of shit. Do I think he once had it? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. And if he did have it, I think Magic Johnson got in bed with the right people, people who run the world, 1%, and I think they actually cured him, because for those who don't remember, his wife, Cookie, actually insulted the intelligence of a lot of people. She actually got on Ebony, she did an Ebony magazine interview, and on the cover of the Ebony magazine, it had, if you go back and find this, I can't remember what year it was, but this was a while back, but Cookie Johnson was on the cover of the magazine. She was like, God healed my husband. So I questioned that then, and I was like, I don't even think I was atheist when that magazine came out. But when it came out, I mean, I knew it was a lie though, and I was like, why the fuck would God heal your damn husband, but not heal all of these kids and people in these third world countries and people in the inner cities of America of HIV and AIDS? Why would he just pick your husband and heal him? So it was kind of like a bunch of propaganda bullshit to me when I seen that magazine and read that article. And from what I've known, from what I've heard, Magic Johnson's never, HIV is gone. So, it's just kind of fucking strange to me, which kind of shows me that he's in bed with the right people, and that whoever these people are, they don't want the masses to have the cure, because they have another type of agenda as far as it's concerned. So My thing is this: CDC, Center for Disease Control. Funny thing about that is that Atlanta being the leading city of HIV/AIDS now, this is CDC's headquarters. No, that seems kind of funny to me too. Why would a city, and those who are not familiar with CDC, please look up CDC. It's being all type of movies, zombie movies, how CDC does things and have secret chambers. And I know this for a fact because I've actually done some work in CDC. And they have floors up under the ground in CDC. So they do have a lot of secret shit where you can't go in CDC and you don't know what the hell they got going on in CDC. But yeah, it's a funny thing. It's a strange place, and for Atlanta to be the headquarters for such a place, and then at the same time simultaneously being a leader of HIV and AIDS, it's kind of strange, and it's messed up. Do I think it's a coordinated attack on black people as far as HIV and AIDS? Yes, I do. And I think it's always been that way. I think if it was started anywhere, I don't know if it started out to be that way. I don't know if it started out as a biological warfare, as far as the Germans had it, or was it some type of biological warfare created to kill Americans or to kill Russians or to kill the Jews, whoever. One thing I do know, after World War II and after America found all type of vaccines from German scientists and all type of biological warfare, because one thing y'all must know, after World War II, man, there were so many things found as far as knowledge of certain biological warfare and weaponry that America didn't have knowledge of. But Hitler and a lot of his scientists did have knowledge of it. And after World War II, America and Russia got all this knowledge. And this is basically, after World War II, this is what basically caused what we call the Cold War between America and Russia, because both America and Russia know exactly what type of knowledge that they gained by defeating Germany. So there's a lot of different things that came out of Germany and out of the labs and scientists over in Germany. And a lot of things biological warfare. I mean, I'm talking about stuff that make laughing gas look stupid. A lot of stuff that America got. So to me, HIV and AIDS were probably one of those things where scientists found a way how to actually destroy the human body with viruses, with gases, with different things. And CDC, I think CDC has pieces and bits, and I believe they have the blueprints for all of these things. And I think it is a concentrated effort to destroy certain people, a certain way of ethnic cleansing. It's just a better way, and it's a smoother way where you can't see it now, because it's kind of strange to me. And the reason I can say this, and I can say this with historical clarity, because those who are not familiar, I mean, everybody should be familiar with what happened with Tuskegee in Alabama years ago when black men were tested as basically test dummies. You know what I mean? We were shot poison vaccines, polio, all these things that was going in our systems were being tested for. And this is known historical facts when you look up the Tuskegee experiment and what happened to a lot of black people during that time. And then you have other incidences. The black pregnant women were tested in different clinics around the world during the 40s and 50s. Like I said, with the polio disease. So it's not and the history of Planned Parenthood with Susan B. Anthony. It's no secret how she thought. Some people try to clean it up, the things she said, but she was, to me, very clear historically on how she felt about the black race and the progeny, and as far as trying to stop them. So this is something that I think is a serious issue, and I think people should be aware of it. So if you're living here in the city of Atlanta, just be careful, because one thing about it, you're not going to be able to go to CDC and to see what they're doing. You won't have clearance for that. You won't be able to go to the White House or talk to President Trump or talk to the CIA or the Feds and say, hey man, we think something is being orchestrated against us. You won't get anywhere with that because those people, the ones who do know, they won't admit it, and they're not going to go against their country. But what you can do is educate yourself, educate your family, and be careful out here as far as not just sexually. Be careful out here with the foods you eat, the things you buy in your neighborhoods, in your particular zip codes. Because I just read off some zip codes. And matter of fact, me and my girl were speaking about this before. We're speaking about as far as demographics are concerned. These people have a way to aim at demographics. with the smallest of things. We're talking about tax cuts. We're talking about gas prices. You go to certain zip codes, man, and you would think the poor zip codes, like the 30310s, 30309, 30308s, you would seem like gas would be cheaper in those areas. But it's the reverse. The further you go out, where these neighborhoods are more affluent, gas prices are lower. Not only that, you try to get car insurance, and you're within a certain urban neighborhood, car insurance is higher. People say, oh, well, that's due to crime. Well, why is that due to crime? If I'm a law-abiding citizen, why should I pay more? Because you're saying I'm in a certain area. Because demographics are very important. This is why they want to know your zip codes. You know what I mean? I should get the same affordable insurance anybody else should get. It don't matter what my area, because those same people who live in those affluent neighborhoods can always drive somewhere else and get robbed or get their car stolen or whatever. So it's a real major problem in this country, and it's going to remain a major problem. All thing you can do is basically educate yourself and educate your family and protect yourself. But the AIDS epidemic in Atlanta and HIV among blacks is something to be talked about. And no, hell fucking no. I don't think it just comes down to, it comes down to ignorance, yeah, but I don't think it just comes down to as far as blacks just being sexually out of control. No, it don't come down to that. There's something systematic about this, and it's something that needs to be talked about. You know what I mean? It's something that shouldn't be put up under the rug. It's something that needs to be discussed. I don't know what the Atlanta leaders are doing, and if you ask me, I don't think they're doing much of nothing, because most of them have dropped the 8 ball. They I mean, they're not really trying to help anything. I don't believe it. You know what I mean? I've been in a circle with a few of them, and they think just like preachers and pastors. They don't care. One thing they care about is lining their own pockets. So it's good that YouTube, we have a particular, we have somewhere to speak at or to talk to, because of course I couldn't get this out on the news or nothing like that. And there's a lot of other people on YouTube who speak the truth. People like Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I mean, those who are not following Dr. Boyce Watkins, Dr. Boyce Watkins, please follow him, hit him up. He has some very interesting videos he do, and subscribe to him. And it's a lot of us out here trying to do things, you know, and trying to get particular messages out. Like I said, I don't just speak against religion or always talking about the Bible or Quran. I mean, but that is my thing. I mean, because I do think religion has a particular stronghold on the mind of people, especially my people, because I think black people are the most religious people in the damn world, and I think that's a big part of our downfall, because we think this Jesus or Allah, whoever the hell we believe in, we think they're gonna come to our fucking rescue, and it's not gonna fucking happen. So, you know, for example, we got churches all over fucking Atlanta, every fucking ghetto. These zip codes I just called out, we got a church on every fucking corner. And by the way, there's a liquor store right by that church on every fucking corner within our black neighborhoods. But this God or this Jesus that y'all praying to, it's not slowing down the HIV/AIDS rate. It's not helping the economy in Atlanta. So what the fuck is your God good for? So if you tell me the only thing your God is good for is a heaven after you die, then the hell with your God. You can keep that God. I don't want nothing to do with that. You know, I should have my heaven on earth just like those people having their heaven on earth. So once again, man, y'all coming to Atlanta, those in Atlanta, be careful. Be very, very fucking careful. Not just sexually, but what you're buying, where you're buying it at, food you're eating. You know, check to see if shit open. Your water. This thing that's happening up in Flint, Michigan, that ain't no fluke. You know, that ain't no fluke. You know, that you just can't tell me that's a fluke. And they ain't telling how long it's been going on. They ain't telling, and there's no telling what other cities it's going on in. You know, we got to protect ourselves. So I know a lot of us probably drink bottled water, but be careful with that too. You know, make sure your shit ain't open. These people probably come to us all kind of fucking ways. So you got to watch the goddamn enemy. You know what I mean? And the enemy ain't just the white man. It's these niggas too who done sold out to him. So we got to be careful with that. So with that being said, I want to thank all my viewers. Thank those who subscribe to my channel. I appreciate your support, appreciate your love, appreciate your comments, whether positive or negative. It's all good, you know what I mean? Because everybody got room to grow. So, like I said, with that being said, peace out. I'm the Emperor Atheist.